make sure we go live, and then there we are. So we'll do it again. Good morning. This is the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. We do this. Uh, I do this every few mornings or so. Um, it's it is sort of a way to increase the amount of viewership we get, as well as give people an opportunity to um, see the show is still doing stuff. So first, heads up, I guess going to be um, we are probably going to be taking a hiatus during the Christmas break, which probably comes as no surprise to most people. But we're going to take a short hiatus during the Christmas break because uh, it is easier on us. We will I will probably do some of these kind of daily morning shows while that's going on. Um, but uh, so again, just to recap, this week we had our episode with Zach Boyd that released yesterday. He is the creator and I guess basically just everything behind the Famously Garnet. Uh, Famously Garnet is a social media presence here in Columbia South, well, all over the world. But Famously Garnet is a social media presence that reports on everything South Carolina Gamecocks, and it's fairly substantial. Um, they do a lot of they do a considerable amount of uh, reporting on what's going on with the Gamecocks, which is to say there's always stuff going on. They did announce yesterday, or I think it was yesterday, that the Gamecocks are going to be playing in the Citrus Bowl. And if I got that wrong, then sorry. But I think that's what I saw was the Citrus Bowl, which is, that's great. Citrus Bowl isn't bad. I think there's an argument still to be made that South Carolina in the should be in the playoffs, but you can't force anything like that. Um, there's a lot of speculation out there that says that the reason the Gamecocks didn't get um, into the playoffs is because none of the teams want to play the South Carolina Gamecocks in the playoffs this round. They uh, they look too good. Um, yeah. Well, and I was explaining earlier. I don't know. I don't think it got recorded on here, but I'm not a Gamecock fan. They are the home team, so I do root for them here in Columbia, South Carolina, and I like the fact that they have been doing very well. I think Lenora Sellers, whom I got to get a picture with um, many months ago. So I guess just sort of recap. The company that I work for, almost every year goes to they um, we do a summer outing, and it usually is a Columbia Fireflies game, which is the triple A. I'm sorry, the low single A affiliate to the um, Kansas City Royals. And so this year, when we went, our my company asked if there was anybody that was interested in potentially throwing out the first pitch, and I threw my name out there, and I did get to throw the first pitch of that game. That was pretty cool. The second part of that was pretty cool was the fact that Lindor Sellers, who is the QB1 for the Gamecocks, uh, was also there to throw out the first pitch. So when we were on the field, I got to say hey to him, and I asked him about his goggles, if he was going to be wearing his glasses the entire season, and By the second game, he was wearing contacts. Uh, I, you know, I think he's probably a good quarterback, regardless of whether or not whether he's wearing goggles or whether he's wearing contacts. But it was so. But anyway, I got to take a picture with him, which was cool. Excuse me, sorry, I hit the microphone. Um, that was a pretty neat little piece of getting to throw out the first pitch and then taking a picture with Lenore Sellers, who is very tall, very very uh I don't know what to call it. I can't remember. Anyway, anyway, all of that to say, the episode with famously Garnet, Zach Boyd, aired or dropped yesterday. So if you haven't listened to it yet, you can find it. You can go to any of the links in our bios, or you can go to theallaboutnothing.com and you can find you can find the links to all of the episodes there. We're on all the social media platforms. We're on everything as far as you can go to YouTube. We have a channel where you can see all of the episodes that we record as well. Let's see what else. So I think one of the things, and this is I know for a lot of people this is not something they like hearing about, but I am entertained by some of the. I'll move on to the shooter, New York United Healthcare murderer. I'll move on to that in just a second. But and if everybody has any comments, please feel free. Put something, write something, ask a question, whatever, and I'll be happy to answer that. Um, so one of the things that I'm entertained by, and I don't know that this really needs a whole lot of discussion, but there is a video of President-elect Trump at Notre Dame in Paris at the reopening, and there are clearly people reacting to some sort of scent around him, and I'm entertained by that. I mean, it's purely nothing but entertainment. It has you know mostly because he's an old man, and sometimes, and I'm fully expecting to be the same way. You get to a certain of age, and you start to smell some. I'm just I'm not. I'm simply entertained. Is it accusatory to say that Donald Trump's out there stinking up the place? Yeah, a little bit. It's a little inflammatory for some people, I'm sure too, that they don't want to necessarily hear that Donald Trump stinks, or they don't. That there are a lot of people that support Donald Trump, and you know, but if the same thing were being said about President Biden, then I think that they would probably jump on that bandwagon and enjoy it. So, look, I think the most important part of this is if you find it funny, find it funny. Don't rub it in somebody else's face. If you're insulted by the fact that people are accusing Donald Trump of smelling bad, you know, just it's one of the least important things. Uh, it's got to be one of the most least. It's got to be the least one of the most unimportant things that could potentially ever exist. Um, it's a dumb thing. So the I guess the big thing that happened yesterday is that Luigi Mangione is the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO slaying, and he has been arrested and charged with murder in the shooting death of Brian Thompson, who again United Healthcare CEO. A lot of information coming out about Mangione, and he was Ivy League. I mean, like he has just an unbelievable set of credentials. He comes from an extremely wealthy family. A lot of these things are they're kind of adding up. Um, oh, my voice is delayed. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not exactly certain how to fix that on my end, but I appreciate Isaiah you letting me know. Mangione is I'll have to figure out how to I'll have to figure out how to make that fix that or whatnot. So I'm sorry that threw me off. So I guess and this won't take too long, but I think one of the things that I really I want to, I guess, sort of get into is there is a fairly substantial number of people that, trying to think of a way to say this. There are a fairly substantial number of people that are um, that seem to be celebrating the death of a um, the death of this United Healthcare CEO. Um, it is, I think that it is grotesque to celebrate something like that. I think that it's grotesque to have a positive opinion about someone's death, especially in the manner in which they were killed. Um, that to me um, is one of the more difficult things. Let me see. I don't know if this will make it any better. I was told that the stream is delayed, so I'm trying to fix that a little bit. I don't know if that's going to fix it. Anyway, I do think it's grotesque to celebrate the death of someone um, in the manner that it occurred. That I do, and I do not believe that um, violence is ever the answer. I know that in some of the stuff that Mangione wrote seems to give this idea that when you can't, when there's no other way, that violence is the answer, and I completely advocate against that. I don't think that is um, I don't think that's the way to do it. Um, but at the same time, United Healthcare, um, I'm sorry, I gotta see how off this is. Once I figure it out, it won't ever be an issue again. Oh man, it's off by a lot. Okay, so maybe I'm getting it a little bit closer. Look, this is live. Check, check, check. Test, test, test. This is a live recording, so this is kind of what you have to deal with. All right, trying again. We'll see. We'll see if it's any better, any worse. Oh, it's a little closer now. Good. Um, all right. So I think it's a little closer. There it is. Okay, man. So Isaiah's not here anymore, but I want to thank Isaiah for pointing that out, that it was that the audio and video was not syncing. Anyway, so yeah, so it's it's I think that it's grotesque to be so, I guess, entertained or so excited about the fact that someone was gunned down in the street. It's violence is not the answer. But the caveat to that is The caveat to that is that United Healthcare is one of the worst uh, companies. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst healthcare companies, insurance companies on the planet. It is by far one of the worst when it comes to denials, especially of elderly and seniors, um, for pre-authorize or and when it comes to pre-authorizations. They are one of the worst when it comes to denial of claims, despite the fact that the correct diagnosis codes. Look, some of these companies are using artificial intelligence to decide whether or not a procedure should be covered. Um, I mean, it was just last week that Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, sort of slipped it in there that that they were going to make the decision on how long anesthesia should last for any, predetermine how long anesthesia should last for any potential surgery. Insurance companies are not healthcare. Insurance companies are a socialized way of handling the cost of healthcare. And ultimately, the the necessity of insurance as a way to cover the cost of healthcare in the United States is archaic. We are well past the point of requiring insurance companies to socialize the cost of healthcare. We are so far past that. Um, Most of the modernized planet, most of the modernized world, all of these first world countries have a form of universal healthcare that is completely subsidized and socialized. There is the ability to negotiate. And I'm gonna have to wrap this up, but the ability to negotiate the cost of actual healthcare with insurance, or with hospitals and doctors and things like that could be much better handled from an administrative standpoint, like the way that Medicare does it. Medicare is and I don't care what people say, okay? Because there are people out there that are naysayers that say that Medicare is uh, doesn't do what there are people that say that Medicare does not do what it is that it actually does, and what it actually does is it operates and negotiates for patients at less than sometimes less than a 1% overhead cost. If you have United Healthcare, it's somewhere between 50 cents to 75 cents of every dollar you pay in premium goes to profit the company. Another 15 cents of that for every dollar that you spend in premium to your insurance, somewhere in the 10 to 15 cent range goes to marketing for that company. So now we're talking almost 65 cents at the minimum, or 60 cents at the minimum, is going to pay administrative costs for your insurance. That means that only potentially 30, 35, 40 cents on every dollar you pay is actually going into the pool that covers the healthcare. That's absurd. It's it doesn't make any sense as to why we would continue to to be so inefficient about our healthcare. It just doesn't make any sense. So we're going to talk more about that. Um, I'm going to wrap this up. The next episode of the All About Nothing podcast will drop on Monday. Our guest this week that we're going to record with tomorrow night is Michelle Brand, who is the third vice chair for the South Carolina Democratic Party. She is also running for a special election seat for the House District 113, which is down in the Charleston area. So we're going to talk to Michelle. And if you listen to the podcast, you know Michelle. She's been on the podcast a few times. Well, once she was on the podcast once. I said a few times. She was on the podcast once back in August of 2023, where she was the guest speaker at the Greenwood Democratic Party breakfast in August of 2023. And so she got to speak and be on the show for a little while, and she was incredibly fun to have on, and I'm looking forward to having her on again tomorrow night. So we will release that episode on Monday. So if you haven't already, go back, check out the episode. Oh, also, you know what? I don't have it with me, but okay. So this is just a quick aside for anybody that's watching. ZJZdesigns.com. There are a lot of there's a lot of things you could wear to Christmas parties, to holiday events, things like that. But there are some very flashy T-shirts, design prints available for everything from T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, mugs, just available. Go to zjzdesigns.com. You can check out those T-shirts there. You can check out all the prints, but they got. I actually have mine. And it's Eddie the Elf. So these are T-shirts that are designed by my mother. That are they're very well done. So if you get an opportunity, go check that out. ZJZdesigns.com. Also, Everplay Sports and Social. If you live here in the Columbia area, Everplay Sports and Social is signing up right now, I believe through December 19th for bowling, Tuesday night bowling over at Bolero in Casey. You can go to everplay.com or everplaysocial.com and sign up now. Do it because the spots that are available will sell out. And I know, we see it. I think there were 16 spots available, 16 team spots available this season that we're playing in, and they filled up, and it always fills up. So go check that out. That is that's going to do it. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We'll do this again potentially tomorrow morning. We'll see. But that is going to do it for me. I appreciate it. I'm Bear Gruber. Go check out theallaboutnothing.com, and we will talk to you again very soon.